Hello, everybody. Happy Friday evening. I hope this was a spectacular week. This is the Spirit Program Live. My name is Sharon Price. I am the author and founder of the Spirit Program, which is a 12-week Mind, Body, Spirit program. I have also been running the Spirit organization for 20 years. It took a break during COVID, the organization itself. I'm hoping to reform it here in the near future in a whole different capacity, but still offering the Spirit program to clients, groups, and also all the events that I do now and more. I want to be able to add a children's program that's been on the back burner for quite some time, and I know now it is time to bring that program forward. I will talk more about that as we go forward into 2024. I am so pleased tonight. This program that I am going to be taking the information from is a program that is very dear to my heart. It's a coaching program. That's a marriage program is how it started out. But it is for all relationships, regardless of whether that's friendships, love relationships, or even, sibling to sibling within families. It's important that people know, and even in the workplace. So it spells out Christ, and it happens. Well, I always played around with a lot of words and letters years ago so that someone would remember whatever programs I did. And spirit is about connecting to your inner, tapping into your inner spirit. So the Mind, Body, Spirit program is once you tap into that place and once you're able to, when a lot of other obstacles are moved out of the way and you have the tools to do that, your life will soar. It will open up magically. It will flow magically and your relationships will improve. But they also need these tools that were in the program that are, again, a relationship program. I guess instead of calling it a marriage program, I should call it a relationship program because that's truly what it is. And it actually is communication, honesty, respect, integrity, sacrifice, and trust. And sacrifice does not mean sacrificing yourself. We'll get into that during this segment. This will go on for the next, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks until I wrap it up. And I am going to focus on one of these each week. And I want you to focus on it. I want you to focus on how you react, interact with yourself, with others, and all relationships, whether that's at home or at work or out in the world at large, whatever that is, however you connect with other individuals, how are you connecting? And so let's start with communication. How do you communicate? Communication is a large spectrum of tools and techniques and technology that we can use. But it's very important that we don't treat our human relationships and our connections the same way we do when we were dealing with people through a computer. And remember, emails, text messages, they don't have emotions. People misinterpret. It depends on their cognitive ability. Sometimes it has nothing to do with their cognitive ability as much as it does for interpretation of how something's said or maybe how something was said to someone in the past. Not every relationship is created equal, meaning every relationship is unique and different to that person that you're communicating with. So you may be able to communicate in short, sentences, one words to someone else that may understand that because you've been together before, your friends, you're close, your buddies, and you know what the other one's saying because you have had the experience of hearing them out loud or being present with them. But if you try that with someone else that's totally new relationship, they're not going to have a clue what you're saying. And we form relationships over periods of time, from when we're in school to when we, are in a workplace, to the neighborhoods we live in and the social groups we're a part of. And each one of those different situations presents a different way of communicating. And so in order to improve your relationships, it's about learning more about the other person and having them understand you. Some people communicate in almost like a sarcastic way, as jokingly, and it's not taken like that by everyone. They think that they're being not sarcastic, but disrespectful. If they don't know you. Now, if they knew you and you said that, then they would laugh and know you were joking. There are situations like that, and that's where breakdown in relationships come from. That's where relationships break up, because people are not understanding each other, because maybe for years you communicated that way with someone different, and maybe you're in a totally different relationship and they're not understanding that language. Sometimes it's almost like we speak our own language when we communicate. So it's really critical that you learn about the person, and you can't do that by just meeting someone for a few minutes the first time and thinking you know everything about them, how they process information, how they learn. Again, something not to do with necessarily the cognitive level, but their learning style. Learning styles are different. That's why our program gives 3 different ways to learn. You can do it through lecture and a presentation like I'm doing now. You can go on and read the material in the book, or you can do it through our video. And all of those ways sometimes coming together help you understand it even further. So if you want to build healthy relationships, then it's really about getting to know the other person and getting to know how they communicate best, and let them know how you communicate best. If you have been texting most of the time and you don't normally talk on the phone, or you talk all day for work and you don't like to talk after work, and explaining to people, it's about having a clear understanding so that someone does not think that you're ignoring them, and you're trying to build a relationship and you think they're ignoring you. And that people play these games where, oh, they text me, but I'm going to wait a little bit and I'm not going to text them back. And, especially if you're in a new relationship, it's really, it's emotional immaturity. And it's learning to become mature in the way you talk, the way you communicate. We'll get into the honesty next, but it really is about allowing someone, uh, putting your guard down a little bit and allowing a little bit more information out about what you like, what you don't like. And depending on what relationship that is, you may, again, just be busy. Someone may text you and they don't text back. I mean, where's our handbook on how to text properly? I'm sure there's one on YouTube somewhere. But when someone starts a conversation with you, you're texting them, they're texting back, um, and then they just drop the conversation. You don't hear from them again for 2 days. How does that feel on the other end? Uh, do you assume you have to make an assumption? They didn't want to talk to me, they were busy. Maybe I said something they didn't like. It's all of these strange, you point the finger at yourself and start like turning it inward, and it has nothing to do with you. If you don't understand what's going on, you don't know what's happened on the other end. I say, it's texting is different than a phone conversation. And if you want to leave a long message for somebody, and I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of putting long texts out sometimes, believe me, because as you know, I talk a lot. Motivational speaker, I really believe in strong communication. But when things get to the point where it's being misunderstood or it's not clear, or it's just too much information, I'll ask. I don't always pick up the phone first. I'll say, is this a good time to talk? Because maybe someone's texting with you and where they are is not in an appropriate place to talk by phone. And when I say that, maybe they're sitting by themselves at a coffee shop, having lunch, and you're a friend and they see that you're texting them. Now, I only have 15 minutes. I'm eating my lunch and you were saying, hey, so I said, hey, back. But then you got into this deep conversation and I needed to finish my lunch and get back to work. And then, oh my gosh, I got home and I was tired and I forgot. Do you see how the dialogue can go? And the whole time you're going, oh, well, what happened? And, what did they say? If you want to know, then ask. Make it clear to that person how you feel if they drop the conversation. If I know that you're going to react that way, then I'm just not going to respond. I'm going to enjoy my lunch. I will respond later, leave it up so I know that, I haven't answered it, and answer when I have time. That's really what texting's about. And I'll say, do you have time to talk? And if someone says no, or this isn't a good time, or I'm not in a good place, or, can I call you tomorrow? Um, and you say yes, that doesn't mean that you sit by the phone until they're available. Maybe you are available tomorrow, maybe you're not. It's kind of like that give and take, understanding each other. um, you're not going to always know everything about someone's schedule, what's going on in their lives, where they are. And I think if you have something critical or something that is going to be emotionally upsetting to someone, like someone's ill or lost, don't do that by text. That is so impersonal, and it's so, you know, upsetting. You don't, person may be driving down the road, stopped at a light. I know people do it, check their phone, or they have voice texting, and they hear a message and it completely crushes them. And I've had situations where I've seen something on Facebook about a family member, or, learned something tragic by text message, and that's not the way I want to hear it. Maybe you're okay with it. I'm not. And the grief part of what I do when I talk about myths around grief and um, how to deliver messages to people, again, we're going back to communication, knowing the person well enough. And you think you know someone, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes people have their shell up, they have their wall up. They're wearing their mask, as I call it, not a mask like we wear, when we're protecting ourselves from germs, or, viruses, or we have to wear it because, our work requires it. I'm talking about the mask that you wear, so the person doesn't really get in or get to know you. And they're not going to, as long as you have a wall up, as long as I don't know the proper way to communicate and I don't know your preferences. There's nothing wrong with talking about it. Nothing wrong with being honest, or my life is really full and I really want to get to know you, but this isn't a good time. Or I do know you, I've known you for years, and something changed in my life. Maybe recently I had a child, I had a baby, and it isn't that I don't care about my single friends or my friends that, don't have children, but my lifestyle has changed and my priorities have changed. And that priority is on my family, and it has to be. And if that's not understood, then that relationship isn't built on a very strong foundation. And communication is about building relationships on a strong foundation, having understanding. And everyone is in different places in their lives, in different seasons of their lives. And sometimes it's a lot different when you have friends that are much younger than you or much older than you, which I do. I have friends in, all age groups. And I know that they communicate differently. They, you know, have different lifestyles, sometimes the same lifestyle. You can be single in your 40s and someone else be single in their 20s, and your lifestyle is exactly the same. Maybe you work together, maybe you run the same schedule. It doesn't mean you can't have friends. It doesn't mean that you can't learn what the needs of those people are, whether, again, it's a family member, it's a close friend, it's an acquaintance, it's someone, for business only. There's different types of relationships. So the way I communicate with someone business only is not the way I'm going to communicate with a close friend. But people do, and they forget how to separate those two. And then I'm not analyzing my family and putting them through, a test of, let's see what type of personality they are and see if they match. And, this is why, we're not getting along. No, you're not getting along because you're not communicating and you're expecting a certain behavior, and expectations will set you up for breakdowns in relationships. And I want to help people build relationships. This is just some of the things that are talked about if we're in relationship coaching. And I'm hearing one side, but how they perceive the other side, or if there's a couple there, it's great because I'm able to help them maneuver through the obstacles that they're having. And again, you've built relationships sometimes for years that then are severed, and then you're building new relationships, whether that's a friendship or a love relationship, or even, maybe a parent passes away and you have someone that's like a parent to you. But the relationship is new. It's different. It needs to start right at the beginning. You can't pick up from one relationship where you left off of a 20-year relationship, meet someone that's similar, that has your same interests, and think that they're going to be able to communicate the same way, someone that was friends with you or part of your life for 20 years, and they're going to know everything about how you communicate, and you're going to know everything about how they communicate. It's again, how do we communicate? Through email, through text, through sitting down and talking, to turning off electronics, to having a dinner or a lunch or a breakfast with somebody without having a device in front of you. That is called human connection, and we're losing it. And we do need the virtual, and we do need Zoom, and we do need to be able to reach people across the globe. I think it's critical. I think technology is not our enemy. I think it's our lack of skills and communication and life skills that are continuously changing, that need to be upgraded. And we need to know how to do it without severing every relationship. And again, we are meant to have human connection. We're not robots. And we are, human beings having spiritual experiences. Um, did I say that right? We're spiritual beings having human experiences. I turned that around. Whatever, it's the same thing. Now we are spiritual beings here having a human experience. But how can you have a human experience if you're not participating, if you're not in relationships, if you're not communicating in your relationships, if you think it's all the other person, when you haven't helped them understand your needs, and they don't understand yours and you don't understand theirs. So this is just scratching the surface of different ways we communicate, how we do it. I've been out and just sat as an observer and watched people and been amazed at what other people will tolerate in order to have a human connection. That is unacceptable to me. And I'd rather say hi to a stranger walking down the street than have relationships with some of the people that I have had relationships with in the past, because they aren't willing to put in whatever work there is to build a good relationship. And if you want good, positive relationships, and you want to have happy relationships, that bring joy to your life, they're not there to bring your happiness and nor you theirs, but you're not there to make them miserable either, vice versa. So I hope that this segment has helped. We're going to go into honesty next week. And I am psyched. Again, I'm going to talk about it until it's done. The Spirit Live Expo is tomorrow in Frederick at the Claggett Center. I'm sorry, Sunday at the Claggett Center, Sunday, April 21st. Registration's at 9. The event starts at 10. This is going to be a huge jumpstart into 2024 for a lot of people. This is all new material. I've never been so excited. I can't even get it all in. There's no way. I don't know if we're going to have to come back for a two-part, maybe do one again in the fall is what I'm thinking, because I've debated having this as an annual event or twice a year. And I kind of think it's nice to do it twice a year because it brings everyone back together that was there. We add new people, and there's always, again, things are changing, being updated at all times. But some things that are never going to change is, how we communicate by listening, and how we communicate by talking things out, and how we reason with other people, and how we have to sometimes compromise. There's no competition, and being able to do that respectfully, and learning how to do that. Once you know how to do those things, and you know that you have aced those tools, doesn't mean everyone has and everyone's at the same place you are. You can help other people learn how to communicate with you better, and you can learn how to communicate with them better. But again, reprogramming what's already been done and conditioned over the years is critical for being able to create a bright future for yourself. And then that, your brightness, your happiness, your light that you shines on other people, and you can share that light with them. So I am, again, going to say go to www.getintothespirit.org. Look at the 12-week program. It's starting back as a virtual group program coming up in May. Um, there's also a grief healing program. And then the expo's tomorrow. I keep saying that. The expo is Sunday, and that's because there's some overnight stays for some of the guests. It does start tomorrow, if we want to technically say that, for people that have decided to stay overnight. There were no rooms for tonight on Friday night, but the event had rooms for Saturday night. So there are some local people that are coming that are also staying overnight, and all the options are still available. This is the last opportunity to, you can come to the event, but you won't be able to stay overnight after today, after Friday. So if you don't get your registration in for a room overnight Friday night, then that's not going to happen. You can, though, still attend the live event. And I hope you can. I hope you can join us, because it's going to be spectacular. And someone is going to win all the programs I just talked about, plus the Spirit Reunion, plus gifts from our sponsors. Unit 8 gave red sauna therapy treatment. The Brand Art Yoga Studio is offering a gift from their store, and they also hold classes there. And then Sandy, who is our fairy hair lady, she sparkles my hair. I am so grateful for her. She's going to be there. She'll be able to do it live tomorrow. Our Sunday, I'm going to say it over and over again. I don't know why I keep doing that. And then she will also be giving a gift to the winner that they will get at the end of the program for revealing their new, found self. It's Get a Makeover from the Inside Out, the program is. And then there's also Lily, who offers the henna tattoos, and she's going to be there. Everything we do is holistic, and it's about changing everything in your life in a very simple, easy, step-by-step manner, by learning the tools and techniques and doing it in a holistic way. So I hope you, again, have the opportunity to join us for something that's coming up soon. But the expo is, this Sunday. So don't run out of time. Grab your tickets now. Thank you for listening. I hope this segment on communicating makes you really start thinking about how you communicate, how people perceive your messages, and why, and how you may be able to, communicate with less words, but elaborate, and sometimes with more words. Sometimes more is not better. Sometimes it's getting straight to the point, and that's important too. You keep people's attention. There's no confusion in the conversation. But that doesn't mean if someone is someone that elaborates, or that's their style of communication, that there's something wrong with that. And that's where there's hiccups too sometimes, where you communicate like directly to the point. I want them to get to it. And this person has to tell every detail. That is their style of communication. And they're not going to change that just because that's what you would like them to do. But maybe there's, again, happy medium. And you can rub off on each other. Maybe you can give a little bit more detail and someone else can give a little less. And you can still get to the end result. So have a great weekend. I know I'm going to. I am very psyched about this event, and we will be announcing who the winner was on Monday. We are going to be sharing it on all of our groups. And then we're going to be following that person as they go through this 12-week transformational experience. And if you've ever wondered what the Spirit program's even like, just one little bit for one person, then stay tuned for all of our videos and their journey through the program, and how it changes your life emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Again, have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you soon. Again, happy Friday.